was a Friday night. There was a dance at Eagles at Minster.
Some of my friends and I, we went to Eagles, and it was actually May 6th.
And Rich and I were going to go out together that evening.
And he was from Russia, and we went to Marion Local.
Rich suggested, why don't you introduce me to all the girls that you know, and I'll introduce you to all the girls that I know. I said, sounds like a winner.
Eagles, that was what you did on a Friday night. Eagles was really the hot spot.
About 10 o'clock, I noticed Rich was out on the floor talking to 3 or 4 girls in a group. And then he come back over to me and he said, Carl, he said, there's a girl out here I think you might like to meet.
We were out on the dance floor, and Carl and his friend Rich Bergman came over, and he introduced us.
And those big eyes, they just melted me right on the spot.
Then after that, we danced a couple times, and I know that evening he had asked me to go home.
But she said no, for whatever reason, I don't know yet.
I had just met him, and I didn't know who he was. I wanted to make sure he was an okay person. Back then, you didn't have to go steady with somebody. You know, you could go home with one person on one night and go home with another on the next night.
But I will say this, no girl ever gave me a harder time than what Linda did. She was terrible. I don't know if she did it because she was being ornery or she thought she was too young.
I was young. I wanted to have a little fun first.
I went back, talked to Rich afterwards, and I said, Rich, I said, you might think I'm crazy, but that's my wife.
Say this, he was a little more quiet than what he had after we got to know each other. He was more, I guess he was more at ease. But he was a little quiet the first night.
And I fell in love with her instantly. It took her at least 3 or 4 weeks to figure out that I was the right guy for her. She was a little slow.
And then after that, I found out he was okay.
And anyway, when I went home that night, I knelt by my bed. And I said, Lord, I said, this is a special woman. I said, if this is to be, please let it happen. And don't let me screw it up.
The day we met, frozen, I held my breath. Right from the start, I knew that I found a home for my heart. Beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more.
Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything
for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. I love you for 1,000 One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000